Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Ing the Gamer, aka Ingerson Uno. We're here reacting to a video today from CoffeeHouse Crimes. Teen murders his family for his cartoon lover. Now, this video intrigued me and made me want to react to it with you guys is because I seen the thumbnail. And on the thumbnail, the supposed cartoon lover is a character from a game we played a couple years back. I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years ago. We played the whole series on stream. So with that being said, I'm not gonna give too much away on the video. Let's just hop in and see where this takes us.
On June 30th, my sister decided to make the only correct choices in episode 1 of season 1 of Walking Dead games. And for that, her face will be mutilated further than necessary.
Okay, we already see what he's on. We can already see what he's on. He's about to be on some nonsense. And if it's The Walking Dead, I'm assuming... Well, I've seen the thumbnail, so I already know who it is. But I'm assuming it's going to be Clementine that he's talking about, which is a little creepy because she's, well, let's see his age first, but she's like 13 or 14, I think. He don't look 13 or 14.
Same thing, the man on his fence, we do not mention when questions, subject to slightly court. Anything you do say may be given evidence.
I am the chosen one, chosen by Clementine.
You surprised me.
So it is Clementine.
Someone else.
I'm guided, as Christians are guided by Jesus Christ.
Yes, we've got mail here, he's presented himself to us. Can we get another unit?
Okay, so this is in the UK somewhere, I'm assuming. Probably London, England, Great Britain. It's probably in one of those places, I'm assuming.
There will be no more killings of Larrys in front of Clementine, no more killings of St. John's in front of Clementine, and overall Clementine's content will be preserved, maximised. That's the message I want to give out.
So let me get this straight. You basically dispatch your whole well, so far he said his sister. It says his family, but you dispatch your sister because she chose the wrong choices in the Walking Dead Telltale games? What's going on? What's going on with you, man?
When Nicholas Froscott uploaded this video declaring his love
Bro,
as Legion,
he just look off. I'm gonna try not to pause it as much, but he just look off. Something about him, just his face. Look at his like the emotion on his face. He just looks disturbed.
to a fictitious character from The Walking Dead, it was already too late. His actions, spanning deep into the classification of illegal, had resulted in not one or two, but several lives lost.
Damn,
and
what the hell did he
wreckage,
do?
One of those driving forces behind his violent spree was obsession. This is the story about a teen who had an obsession with a cartoon character, an obsession with attention, and
Shout out CoffeeHouse
an
Crimes.
obsession with infamy.
I
And
watch
if
a
you
lot
add
of
attachment
this, so I
and
enjoyed them a
reality to the
lot.
mix, alongside a spiral so steep that no one saw it coming, well, you have a recipe for disaster. Welcome back to CoffeeHouse Crime, folks. My name is Adrian, and today we're looking at the disturbing case of Nicholas Prosper. Before we begin, if you'd like to see more true crime, strange and chilling stories, then please remember to subscribe. This
Oh, we
really
both got a
does help
coffee.
the channel out. Now, with that said, please grab yourself a coffee. This is the case of Nicholas Prosper.
One thing I'm gonna do, chat, I'm never getting premium. Sorry, it's never gonna happen. I'll never pay for YouTube premium.
Welcome to Luton, folks. So, where do we begin?
Luton?
Well, Luton is one of those towns that seems to always
wanna say that's
come
like
up in
somewhere
the same
in
breath as
England?
trouble. It sits just north of London.
Oh,
close
shit,
enough
so I
to
was
feel
right,
the
yeah.
capital's shadow, but far enough to be forgotten. Once known for its booming hat industry and Vauxhall car production, those days are now sadly long gone, and what is left is a town struggling to find its newfound footing. Walk through the town
Okay, yeah, it is
centre
right
and
there.
you will see exactly what I mean. Boarded up shops and pound stores are found all over, and there is a general sense that things are not what they used to be. Luton has one of the most diverse populations in the country, and while that does bring culture and character, it has also been a flashpoint for tension over the years. Socially, politically, and even from a religious perspective too. Extremism, gang activity and knife crime are sadly all parts of the local vocabulary now. and many people across the UK see Luton as one of the most dangerous places to live. It also doesn't help that it's a very ugly place too. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. The markets still run, kids still go to school, and families do what they can. But there is certainly an edge here, a heaviness. And although people keep their heads down and get on with their lives, this is a place where things can go wrong very quickly. And in September of 2024, that is precisely what happened.
Oh, so this is
Behind the front
recent.
door of the
Okay,
quiet
this is recent. So this just happened. Dang, man. You barely playing The Walking Dead, the Telltale series in 2024? You like years behind, because I was years behind when I played it. He like way behind.
apartment, 19-year-old Nicholas Prosper wasn't only slipping through the cracks, but he was planning something unthinkable. And the worst part is that nobody saw it coming. And so, on that note, meet Nicholas.
You sure y'all didn't see it coming?
Now, at first glance, Nicholas might seem like your average teenage boy.
Nah, he
Born on
look a
December
little.
the
He look like he got the tism in him.
2005 and raised in Luton, he grew up in a modest apartment with his mother, Juliana Falcon, and his two younger siblings, Kyle and Giselle. It's worth highlighting that his parents would unfortunately divorce when he was only 4 years old, which, of course, would be sure to leave a mark on his personality. But otherwise, and to the outside world, they were just a typical.
He looked like he got a little
working-class
sugar in his
family.
tank,
Not
too.
particularly wealthy, but close-knit and, by all appearances, loving. So, how would I describe Nicholas? Well, he appeared to be smart, academically capable,
He do
curious,
look smart.
and also often
I'll give him
absorbed
that.
in his own world. He didn't seem to cause any trouble, and didn't act out in ways that drew any sort of concern. But even then, there was something that was both inward and awkward about him. He didn't socialize that much, and didn't seem to connect easily with other people his age. Teachers would later describe him as well-behaved but withdrawn, someone who kept to himself and rarely opened up. In addition
sounds
to
like
this,
somebody
he
on the
had a deep
spectrum.
interest
That
in
literally
computers
sounds like
and
somebody on the
technology,
spectrum.
and would often spend more than several hours online every day. And it turns out, in a digital world where isolation can breed obsession, his dark and weird interests would slowly become a coping mechanism.
Sounds about
You see,
right.
a few years ago, Nicholas was not violent, at least not outwardly. But what was clear is that he was detached. Taking a brief step back for a moment and taking a look at his family, his mother Juliana was said to be not only supportive, but a fantastic parent. However faint they may be, it is likely that she probably saw the signs that her son was into some weird stuff. And I know I haven't actually shared what he was into yet, but just think of the worst things imaginable. Honestly, this guy
I'm curious
is someone
now.
that you do not want in your life. Now, Juliana likely had no idea how evil and disgusting her son's world had become. And nothing could have prepared her for what was about to happen. Because behind his silence,
I've watched so many of these CoffeeHouse crimes videos, and I've never noticed that cat in the background right there. That just threw me for a loop. I've never noticed it.
something darker had begun to take shape. Something that he hid from everyone. So, how does an average teenager become a would-be mass murderer? Well, all of that began on the internet. Now, I don't need to tell you how dangerous the internet can be. I mean, we're quite literally talking about it in this case, which is precisely why I've decided to team up with NordVPN to sponsor this video.
Here we go with
and
that.
support the information of it. The thing is, Spank comes in handy connection at the end. It allows Spank now time. You'll get a huge discount with an additional 4 months for free, which is the best deal online, I might add. And with their 30-day money-back guarantee built for yourpc.com, supporting a look at Nicholas's hideous obsessions.
Let's see what our
Now,
boy
I'm
Nick
sure
was
I don't
into.
need to tell any of you this, but the internet is one of humankind's greatest inventions. A place of endless knowledge, connection, and creativity. But in the same breath, it's also a gateway to obsession, radicalization, and isolation. When in the wrong hands, the internet is certainly capable of shaping monsters. That infinite pool of both knowledge and creativity can be used in sick and tormented ways. And for Nicholas Prosper, that is precisely what would happen. This is the sort of thing that I hate talking about. But it turns out that Nicholas enjoyed watching content involving children in the most disgusting
Wait,
ways.
whoa.
In fact,
See, I just said it. I said it in the beginning. His cartoon lover is Clementine. Look at him. He like 17, 18 in this photo. You in love with Clementine, who's like a 12, 13-year-old, maybe 14 in the game. So I knew the PDF stuff was gonna come soon.
he was so far down the road with it that he was even banned from multiple websites after expressing his desires. To make matters worse, it didn't stop there either.
Yep, see? Right there at the top, you see it?
Fascination extended to animals and corpses too. Things would worsen throughout 2023.
Oh my
Nicholas
lord.
spent countless hours engrossed in violent content, particularly fixated on mass shootings like Sandy Hook and Columbine. In fact, he would even begin to search for graphic images of murder. When
it showed that picture earlier, I was gonna say something about it, but all right, man. We see what type of time he's on. He's clearly disturbed in the head.
Look up detailed reports of past shootings, and even participated in forums which glorified them. He meticulously studied the logistics of past attacks, learning from their own mistakes to plan a more, quote, effective massacre, one that he was beginning to wish that he could be responsible for. As you can imagine, this virtual echo chamber not only desensitized him to violence, but it also fueled his desire to outdo previous mass murderers. And over time, he would become vocal about it too. In one of his online videos, Nick wore a black and yellow outfit while he mimicked the shooter's
he looks crazy.
In fact,
I was about to say, bro.
Went as far to express his
he looks crazy right now. What are you doing?
As Nicholas delved deeper into these online communities, he became increasingly isolated from the real world. He withdrew from friends and family, and spent most of his time alone in his room. His interactions with other people dwindled, and he became detached from reality. It turns out that the isolation was not only social, but emotional too, as moving forward, he showed little empathy or connection to anyone around him. And although his family did notice these...
Wait, so who's the sister? Those are supposed to be his two siblings, so which is the one with the... I'm assuming it's the one with the long hair, but that doesn't look like a girl. That looks like a boy. But if that's his sister, like, what is going on?
They were completely unaware of...
Why did you kill your sister over Clementine, is my question.
To them, he was merely a quiet and introverted teenager. However, in reality, he was gushing over violent fantasies. It is worth saying that Nicholas's transformation was not sudden or spontaneous. In my opinion, there were several factors at play here. Over time, his curiosity would lead him to the darkest corners of the internet, and meanwhile, his lack of interest in the real world would slowly detach him from reality. And to add to these two already pertinent issues came one other big problem. Nicholas never had a moral compass. You see, Nicholas had the means to find this content online, but then again, so does everybody. It's just that any normal person would simply not want to.
I'm done spending an obscene amount of money on takeout every done.
I'm getting back on track with Factor. Fresh, never.
But not for Nicholas. He had a forever hungry desire. Not only that, but he was becoming obsessed with infamy too, as we have seen in many other cases on this channel. And that is something that he did not want to stop. By June of 2023, Nicholas had abandoned his education and stopped attending classes. And
so he just dropped out?
Once he was kicked out of school for his lack of attendance, he then chose to slump in his bedroom and barely made any effort to go outside. He existed in an online dominant world.
My nigga didn't try to finish high school? He just dropped out?
Part-time at a supermarket, he chose to have little real-life contact with other people. And although this job of his was a good start, he would eventually be fired only a few months later. Over the course of the next year, Nicholas's twisted fantasies slowly turned into plans. And that is when he started plotting an attack on St. Joseph's Catholic Primary School. No surprise, that being the one that he used to attend. It's worth highlighting here that there were no ill feelings towards the school, its teachers, or its students. Nicholas
so then why? What? That makes no sense. Why would you do it if you had no ill will? You just messed up in the head?
With its layout and its routines. Seeing Adam Lanza as a
he looks fucking insane.
Goal was to kill at least
excuse my language, but Jesus.
So that he could go down in history as someone who exceeded the death toll.
Y'all see this nigga, man? What the hell?
In the months that followed,
what the hell?
Under the guise of being a parent, he phoned the school to inquire about their daily schedule, hoping that he could then map out the routines of children and staff. And moving forward, only weeks later, he would also carry out a disturbing level of reconnaissance. He scrutinized the school's website, saving images of both pupils and teachers.
Random. How can you live in a neighborhood like this, bro? I would hate to live in a neighborhood like this where there's like, you got no driveway. You either gotta park in I don't even think they could park in the back alley. I think it's just all street parking. I see no driveways here. They got backyards. I see no back alleys. Like, there's probably never no fucking parking. What the hell? What the helly? What the helly burden?
Forward, only weeks later, he would also carry out a disturbing level of reconnaissance.
Bro, I need a driveway or a back alley to park my car or
saving images
something.
of both pupils and teachers, and collecting faces like they were targets. He would even sketch out the early years classrooms, meticulously mapping all of it out in his own notes. And right next to that hand-drawn layout, he scribbled the chilling words, "kill all," just to add a sprinkle of cringe to the mix. But Nicholas would also
what?
select
Why,
Friday
dude?
the
Like, why you
13th
like
of
that?
September 2024 as the date of his attack, believing that this would add some sort of notoriety to his actions. And here comes the tricky part of his plan, which surprisingly he pulled off. To execute his plan, he needed a gun, and if he wanted one of those, well, he would have to forge a firearms license.
I was about to say, that's pretty
So
hard to
that
get
is
in
precisely
the
what
UK a
Nicholas
gun,
did,
so.
with a fake deputy signature and address to match. And as it turns out, that would work for him. He then successfully purchased a firearm online, claiming that he needed it for clay pigeon shooting. He also designed a very specific outfit that he would wear during the attack, aiming to create a recognizable image that associated him with the massacre. And if you're wondering, yes, it is that awful black and yellow.
I knew it. I
Now,
fucking knew it, chat. What in the hell? Why is he wearing? He looked like a goddamn bumblebee. He looked like the bumblebee off of Transformers, man. What is he doing? What is wrong with bro, man? He looked like a video game character.
That Nicholas seems to harbour, and this is a weird one. Nicholas had a deep fixation over Clementine, a fictitious young girl from the video game The Walking Dead. And let's just say that this was not normal fan admiration. He didn't just see Clementine as a fake character, but a actual real person.
Told you.
Someone not only to protect,
told
but also to avenge. And even more disturbingly, he felt intrinsically bonded to her. I mean, this guy would quite literally write about her in his journals.
Oh,
not
he's
only as
freaked
if she
out.
were real,
Creeped
but
out.
also like she needed him. And if that wasn't strange enough already, he actually saw himself as her hero. And he was ready not only to save her, but to kill for her. Now, emotional intensity aside, the thing that made this so deeply troubling wasn't only the fact that she wasn't a real person, but it was that she was a child. And knowing what kind of predator Nicholas is, I'm sure you can connect the dots here. Now,
If you've ever played those Walking Dead games, chat, when you start the game off, Clementine is like maybe 7 or 8, I want to say. Like maybe 8 or 9, like 7 to 10 in that range. And she finishes at like 14 or 15. So for him to be at, around, I want to say he was 17 or 18, maybe even if he's 16 at this point, for him to be fantasizing over a little girl video game character like that is extremely weird and disturbing.
of course, this sick obsession would show not only how far detached from reality Nicholas was becoming, but also how dangerous he could be. The question now is, how far would he go? So, circling back to the clip at the beginning of this video, you may have connected the dots by now. Nicholas saw himself as Clementine's protector, and when he saw his sister play The Walking Dead in front of him, and then, in the video game, choose to kill someone in front of Clementine, well, bizarrely, this sent Nicholas into a rage, therefore leading him to make this video in full.
On June 30th, my sister decided to make the only correct choices.
What? Oh my god, man. Bro, that's the spin-off game. I don't even think that's one of the seasons. That's for sure is one of the seasons from the spin-off game. Because season 1 is Lee. It's not even Homeboy. What is going on? Oh shit, excuse me. He didn't even, from the original one. That's one of the spin-off stories.
Walking Dead games.
I'm crying. What's wrong with this man? He's sick.
Further than necessary.
Oh,
I
he's sick.
also recall a video by Living Echoes on YouTube. Best of Lee and Clementine Definitive Edition.
My nigga Lee, man.
And she
My nigga
decided
right
to
there.
kill Larry in front of Clementine. And then I later learned he decided to kill St. John's in front of Clementine. I am the chosen one. Chosen by Clementine. I am guided, as Christians are guided by Jesus Christ. and there will be no more killings of Larrys in front of Clementine, no more killings of St. John's in front of Clementine.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't really be able to kill those two specific people in front of her no more because, I mean, once you kill them once, they don't come back in the game. So, I mean, I don't think his thinking was thinking all the way through, unless he just mean everybody in general. But fam, it's a video game. They gotta die at some point.
Maximize. That's the message I want to.
Bro, these motherfuckers want to come and do gardening work at 4 in the afternoon. What is going on? I'm not even gonna edit that out.
While Nicholas spent his nights buried in violent fantasies and his days slipping into further isolation, life would carry on for the rest of his family at home. It is easy to forget that, at the time, he was still living with his mother and his 2 younger siblings. And although their household was far from picture perfect...
Bro, that is a dude. That's not his... He said his younger sister, I could have swore. I'm so confused.
But at least Raymond was around for his children from time to time.
Is that not a dude?
Juliana did seem to notice the troubling signs that both teachers and classmates had started seeing at school. Not only was her son becoming distant and withdrawn, but he was increasingly difficult to reach. And this was especially noticeable after the year 2022, once he transitioned into college. As we know, that brief
Okay, so he went to
chapter
college in
would
20, so he was about 18, so 2 years. He's about 20 when this happened. Sam, you 20 years old, fantasizing over a little 10-year-old girl? What is going on?
Juliana was working full-time to support her family, and despite everything...
You like 2021 at this point, what are we doing?
Nicholas deeply,
Go touch grass and get some real
and
women.
so, with that in mind, both she and Raymond agreed to refer him to local mental health services. From the outset, autism was strongly suspected. Nicholas struggled with...
What'd I say? I said it in the beginning.
...from group interaction, and often seemed to be uncooperative in lessons. However, no official diagnosis was ever made. He resisted the process entirely.
Okay.
It was quite clear that
That
he
makes
didn't
sense. I was about to
want
say,
any
how?
help whatsoever, and maybe he believed that he
Fam,
didn't need it.
I'm telling you, he has autism. If they don't say it within this next 17 minutes, if they don't get no more diagnosis after he gets in trouble, I'm telling you, you can see it in his face. That little nigga on the spectrum.
As the people around him began to silently worry, he was thinking only of one thing: September the 13th. His preparations were now picking up
9/13/2020.
speed. There was no sign of slowing
Why?
down.
What would be the significance in 9/13/2020?
2024. For
Oh,
most
29/13/2024.
families across England, it was just an ordinary Thursday night. The humdrum final hours of a working week
What the-
before the weekend. But inside the quiet apartment...
Oh, wait, hold on. My math is off. He like 22, 23. What are you doing? Like, what is going on? What is going on? You are 24 years old, obsessed over a video game little
North
girl.
London, something far more sinister was unfolding. After having taken possession of a shotgun and 2 boxes of cartridges only one day prior, Nicholas was now armed and dangerous. Throughout the evening, and while his family slept only rooms away, he sat behind his computer screen obsessively researching. It was during this evening that he spent an entire hour reading about the impact of shotgun injuries to the neck. It was becoming clear that not only was this
God
supposed to be the
dang.
weapon used to kill other people, but also the very one that he planned to die by. However, his browser history did not stop there. Throughout the night, he read more case
Wait,
studies
wait,
of
wait,
school
wait, wait,
massacres, but also clear that not only was this supposed to be the weapon used to kill other people, but also the very one that he planned to die by. However, his browser history did not stop
So he
there.
planned on going out by
Throughout the
ending
night,
himself,
He read
alright.
more case studies of school massacres, viewed reports on the murder of Sarah Everard, and then, chillingly, began to look at images of necrophilia. At 4:11 a.m., and while the rest of the house remained silent, he sat in the dark watching extreme animated pornography. Half an hour had passed, and then at 4:42 a.m.,
Bro, what are
the
we
last
doing?
images he looked at were photos.
Batty Hub is right there. What is he
Columbine
doing?
being among them. It was kind of like he was trying to soak himself in the horror one final time. A ritual and a farewell before his own final action.
He said, let me rub one out real quick before I start killing niggas.
Loading both the weapon and ammunition inside. His plan was to leave at dawn, make his way to his old...
Rubbing one out before you commit a murder is insane.
Violence. However, what
I just want to let y'all know
didn't
that,
count on
child.
was that only hours before his departure, he would be confronted by his own mother, Juliana. You see, Juliana had woken early, and what she found would change everything. And in that moment, Nicholas crossed a violent line that he could never come back from.
You killed your mom, nigga?
Only a few seconds
tell me this
later,
nigga
next
killed
door
his mom.
neighbors who were on the other side of the wall and below them could hear a severe disturbance. They had
He
no
killed his
idea
mom.
what was
I
going
can't
on.
believe it.
But of course, we know that Juliana was being attacked. Her son, that being the boy that she had raised and nurtured for so many years, was now preparing for murder. And tragically, his mother was on that list. That is when he raised his gun and shot his own mother point blank in the
That's
face.
crazy.
Juliana tragically died instantly.
Who you
Her
think
body
you is,
was
Raul
seen in the
Menendez?
hallway. It isn't clear if he did this immediately after or a few minutes later, but he would then place a book on her legs.
Or Eric
That book
Menendez,
was titled
whatever
How
bro
to
name
Kill Your
is.
Family. His 9-year-old sister Giselle must have woken up from the gunshots because only moments later she got out of bed and started walking towards the hallway. That is when Nicholas saw her from across the room and fired towards her. Giselle had no idea what was going on, but what she did know is that she was now terrified of her brother. And that is when she ran into the living room and tried to hide behind furniture. But to Nicholas, this was all part of the plan, and so he followed her. And when he found her, he raised the gun to her right eye and fired. Meanwhile, his brother Kyle tried to do something a little bit different. He ran towards the kitchen and armed himself with a knife.
Hey, on God, I'm getting a knife, chat. On God. The first thing I'm doing is going to find the first weapon. You gonna have good aim, because if you miss and I get close and it's striking distance, it's gonna be a wrap. You not about to kill me.
Nicholas then shot Kyle in the chest.
Oh, he shot his ass. Never mind.
Instead, he grabbed the kitchen knife off his brother and stabbed him more than 100 times. By the way, the number of stab wounds would indicate that this homicide was...
That's fucked up. Why you do that? Why you gotta stab him 100 times? For what reason? Why? You already shot him. Like, what is going on? This oh man, bro, he's so crazy. This nigga is crazy.
Nicholas stabbed him in the face, head, neck, torso, and
That's
all
crazy.
the
What is wrong with
He
you,
really
bro?
did not hold back here. Despite the severe trauma and while being stabbed, Kyle would then drag himself into the hallway where he saw his own mother's body. And then, in that final second, Kyle raised the shotgun and shot him in the head too. At 5:29 a.m., the first call was made to emergency services. Police arrived.
I think
on
you
the
mean
scene
Nick raised the
21
shotgun and
minutes
shot
later
Kyle
at
in the head.
5:50, and by
He confused
6:08
me.
a.m., officers had forced entry into the apartment. What they found inside was a blood-soaked nightmare. Blood was found across the walls, floors, and ceiling, and all 3 family members were confirmed dead at the scene. Detectives found
Wait.
several knives at the crime
Kyle,
scene, all of which were
sister,
bent out of shape.
mom.
They would also find the book that Nicholas had left behind resting on his mother. But as for
Where's
Nicholas
his dad at?
himself and his shotgun, they were gone. A surveillance camera captured Nick leaving the flat at 5:33 a.m., only 4 minutes after the first call was made. And for the next 2 hours, he evaded the police like a worm. At 6:22, and
Bro, you
while
could just look
crouched
at the
in a
way he
bush
was
near
walking
his
to tell
flat,
he's on the
he
spectrum
posted
or
a
something.
pre-recorded video to Facebook, that being the one about Clementine and his sister. By now, the area was swarming with police officers, and Nicholas realized that he was far too early for his plans, because school hadn't even started yet. His timeline had shifted into unrealistic territory, and his plan was now falling apart. At 7:55 a.m., Nicholas left his hiding spot and walked down Birmingham Road towards a passing police car, which he flagged down with a raised hand. Here, officers noticed that his hands, clothes, and even his glasses were covered in blood.
Okay, say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned. Subject today to only call. Anything you do say may be given evidence.
Yeah, if you covered it, what was his plan right here?
Birmingham Road, 46, priority. Birmingham Road, I think we've got the offender.
No, it's murder. You killed him.
Yes, we've got mail here. He's presented himself to us. Could we get another unit down, please?
Nicholas believed that all the schools in the area would now be locked down, and so his plan was ultimately foiled. It was for this reason that he decided to surrender. But the reality is that life carried on as usual, and no school had shut.
That's crazy. Yeah, I was just about to say, if he would have just went through with it, he would have got into the school. Because they were not about to go on lockdown.
Found in his pocket, and although he had abandoned his shotgun and all 33 cartridges, all of them were recovered along the route between the tower block and the school. He had also discarded 2 mobile phones along the way. But when police officers questioned Nicholas, he didn't seem distressed at all. In fact, he seemed to be quite cheerful. He made casual conversation with the police, and would even ask if the local schools had now gone into lockdown. It is noted that he showed no emotion, no panic.
It's crazy. That's just, how could you just have no emotion for that?
He seemed to be just a calm, collected young man, proud of what he had achieved, but also disappointed that his plans hadn't gone further.
You killed your family. What are you talking about?
In this case, Nicholas was charged with 3 counts of murder and a whole range of other charges too, including illegal possession of a shotgun and forging a certificate to buy one. It is worth highlighting here that during their investigation, officers would find hundreds of indecent images of children on Nicholas's phone.
Oh, he got a CP charge too? I'm not surprised.
No additional charges were issued, which I do find weird and incredibly frustrating, because if you're found with incriminating evidence...
Wait, he didn't get a CP charge? What?
Regardless.
If you find CP on someone's computer, you not gonna charge him with CP? Like, what are we talking about? What the fuck are the cops doing? I don't give a damn if he murdered them and you got him for murder. Get him for that too. Make his ass rot in jail. Or in prison, I mean.
Right?
What?
Well, unfortunately, you'll soon learn
that just
this
pissed
is
me
only
off.
The first frustrating decision made by the judiciary system.
Okay.
More on that in a moment.
I'm about to be
Similar
more
to many
pissed off.
other
Is what
British
you're about to
cases
say. Let me
that
get ready to start
include
drinking.
young men, Nicholas gave very little away in his interview the following day. And if you forgot what that looks like, here it is.
Did you kill them? We got called there to a disturbance and found your mum, brother and sister dead. Explain to me what happened. Did you kill your mum, brother and sister? Is it your shotgun? Is that the shotgun that was used to kill your mum and your brother and sister? I can confirm that this knife was taken from you by police officers.
I think I'm more mad. Well, either way, I'm mad that he killed his mom, sister, and brother. But I think I'm more mad at how he did his brother. Like, you shot him and then you took the knife and stabbed him over 100 times? Like, really, dude? I don't even think that was called for. You already shot him. He probably was going to bleed out from a shotgun blast as a 9-year-old boy or however 11-year-old boy, wherever the fuck he was. You did not need to stab him in the head, neck, and face over 100 times. That's crazy, dude.
Why did you have that knife in your pocket? It's obviously covered in blood. Whose blood is that? Have you stabbed someone with that knife? When police got there and found your mum, your brother and your sister, on your mum, or right next to her, is a book called How to Kill Your Family.
Crazy.
A book with a cover like that at your home address? Does it belong to you?
Nigga, it's your book. Stop. Stop.
Have you ever touched that book? It was found
He
right
got a
next to
good
your
public
mum.
defender, because that's crazy. Unless he already knew.
That your mum fell where that book was. Have you read that book? It's got that title, is right next to your mum. Has it got any significance? Have you been planning how to kill your family? Did you get any tips from that book?
After his arrest,
Bro, I don't like how
Nicholas
I don't like
didn't
what, like, bro, if he's just saying no comment, why are y'all still even going on with this interrogation? Just put this nigga in his fucking cell and let the trial go and lock him up. Like, what are we doing? If he just gonna say no comment and be uncooperative the whole time, bro, let the nigga go. Go sit in your cell and rot. Eat
But he
nasty
also
ass jail
revealed
food.
something far more chilling. While speaking with a mental health nurse in custody, he calmly explained that he'd spent the past year planning this massacre and intended to leave 34 people dead and then end with him taking his own life. He told
Shit, I
them
wish you
that
would've took him
in
after you
1 year
killed your
prior,
family.
he
If
had
you was gonna
tried
do all
and
that.
failed to rob a gun dealer, and so after going back
Shit,
to
they
the
glad they
drawing
caught
board,
your
he
ass.
forged a gun certificate instead.
We need
I mean,
weirdos
the
like
fact
you off
that
the
this
street.
even worked is horrifying. Yet, even still, that is not the worst of it. He admitted that his original plan before the school shooting was to kill his family first while they slept. And if that wasn't enough already, he also planned to sexually assault his very own sister.
Okay, alright, guy. What are we doing? Why? For what? What are you gonna get out of that? It's your sister, dude. Are you really that nasty? Like, what is going on? He needs to be locked up, put under the fucking prison in Luton, and burn the fucking key. Don't even throw the shit away. Burn the shit until it's fucking dust.
Genuinely, it's the kind of confession that will really make your stomach turn. Once his family were dead, Nicholas then said that he would have left the flat around 8:30 in the morning, arrived at St. Joseph's Primary School by 9 a.m., and then enter a classroom and pretend to rob the teachers before then doing his deed. But as we know, in the early hours of that morning, something that he never anticipated happened. His mother woke up early and interrupted his plans. And just like that.
R.I.P. to his mom, his little brother, and his sister. But his mom's a real hero, because if she don't wake up and see what he's doing at this moment at 4 or 5 in the morning, it's unfortunate and it sucks that he had to attack and kill his own mom. But if it wasn't for her, he would have went to the school and killed many children. So R.I.P. to his mom, but she the real one. She the real hero. She stopped her son, knowing what her son was going to do. She already said it earlier.
Her waking up early is probably one of the most tragic things that could have ever happened to her.
That was probably her mother's intuition making her wake up early, because she knew he was on some BS. That's exactly what it was, chat. I know she wished she wouldn't have did that. I wish she just let his dumb ass do what he was going to do.
I really do believe that we should remember Juliana not as a victim, but a hero instead. While on trial, it came out that Nicholas had already been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder.
What the Bro, see? How does someone with ASD even get the chance to get a gun? That don't even make sense. Even if he forged it, how? If they seen that he went through the procedure and it said he might be on the spectrum, there should have been no way, even if he wasn't officially diagnosed, that he was able to go and legally purchase a firearm. That is crazy. And I called it from the beginning. I told y'all that nigga had autism. I could see it in his fucking face.
Make it very clear here. This diagnosis did not prevent him from understanding the nature of his actions.
He knew what he did.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
He is high functioning.
He had quite literally been planning this for over a year. As always, I think it's important to clarify here that autism does not mean that someone is violent or lacks empathy. Millions of people
100% don't mean that.
They are no more likely to commit violence than anyone else.
You could be on the spectrum and be completely normal.
September of 2024.
For all we know, I could be on the spectrum. For all we know, one of y'all watching could be on the spectrum.
Who stood nearby. While Nicholas was being led out of the courtroom, he shouted, "I still love you, son. It's not your fault, okay?"
Nah, it's your fault. I don't care what you got. It's your fault.
But seriously,
I don't know if I can. You killed my daughter. You killed your. Nah. I don't know if I can.
On February
I don't know if I can ride with that one.
Nicholas Prosper pleaded guilty to multiple charges. Again, that including illegally purchasing a firearm, the murders of his mother Juliana Falcon, his sister Giselle, and his brother Kyle.
Okay, so that was his sister with the dreads. But why did she look she had an Adam's up on that picture? I thought that was a boy. I'm sorry for saying that first. No, that showed a better picture of her. Like, Jesus Christ.
Had enough and ordered him to appear.
Pick the worst pictures of her.
19th, 2025. Justice, at least in part, was served. As a result, Nicholas Prosper was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 49 years.
As he should.
But even still, that was not enough for the public, and it sparked outrage.
Yeah, he shouldn't get parole. He should get life. But cool, I'll take 49.
Urged the Attorney General Office for reconsideration. This process is still ongoing, and so there is a real chance that his sentence may be extended. And honestly, I really do hope this happens. This monster should spend the rest of his life.
He should not get out.
I mean, here are the facts. Nicholas is a triple murderer. He wanted to kill 34 more other people, bought a shotgun to do so, and had hundreds of indecent images of children on his phone. That kind of sounds like the person who should be kept away from
I don't understand why the CP charges didn't come about.
And this case leaves us with more than just horror, but questions too. Questions like, how did Nicholas slip through the cracks without anyone noticing? And I'm not just talking about how he actually managed to get hold of a shotgun in the UK, but also his long and terrible history on the internet. Honestly, how did nobody realise this? As a second thought, it really does make you realise how unfiltered and unmoderated the internet can be. This is also a reminder that mental health awareness is not just about support, but prevention too. Because sometimes recognising the red flags can quite literally save lives. Before we end the story, I do want to take a moment to remember the lives that were lost here. Juliana Falcon was a mother, a woman who worked hard, loved fiercely, and was simply trying to guide her children through life. Her 16-year-old son, Kyle, had his whole future ahead of him.
Oh, so he was actually trying to fight back. Oh, fuck, man. I'm thinking Kyle was like a fucking 8 or 9-year-old. He was 16. He had a chance. If he could have got that knife and stabbed his brother, he could have literally stopped it. That's so fucked, bro. God damn, man. RIP to these three, because they deserve it for what their family member did to them, which was unfortunate.
Them were innocent, and they were taken far too soon by someone they loved.
I'm thinking Kyle was like 9 years old. He's 16. He could have literally did some damage with that knife if he was able to get to his brother.
Described Giselle as a beautiful soul and a model pupil, and a friend described Kyle, who was passionate about football and boxing.
I was just about to say, he looked like he played sports, man.
It is crucial to remember here that these three
up,
were not merely victims. They were a family. A mother and her 2 children who all deserved safety, love, and a future.
And dad talking about, I still love you, son. Nah, I don't.
To remember him as some sort of evil and dark Columbine.
My unconditional love stops there, Chad.
Won't
you kill the rest of our family?
Who is obsessed with cartoon characters. Anyway, those are my thoughts, and so concludes the end of this video. But before I go, I'd love to know what you think about this one, because there's a lot to unpack here. To begin with, what do you think about Nicholas Prosper, and what do you think his family could have done to help prevent him?
That's a good question. I think when they tried to see, when he was younger and they tried to see if he was on the spectrum, no matter how much he pushed back, I think the only place that his parents failed him was in that one spot. They should have kept pushing to see what he had. If they would have known that he had autism, they probably could have got the medicine or whatever the therapy, whatever they needed to steer him away from that path. That would be the only spot where they failed him, because outside of that, it doesn't seem like his mom and his dad were neglectful parents. It seemed like they actually cared about their kids and stuff. So I think they should have pushed more to make the doctors and stuff diagnose him so they can get him the help that he needs. But I don't think that takes away from the fact, he was still high functioning. He knew what the fuck he was doing, bro. You shouldn't have did that. If you want to do all that, I won't say this because this has to go on YouTube, but y'all know what he should have did if he was going to do that. Don't kill nobody else.
And from falling so far. As always, please share your thoughts in the comments down below. Anyway folks, I'm going to wrap this video up here because I can see the battery's dying yet again. On that note, I'll be back again next week for another video, and I'll probably try something a little bit different, so keep your eyes peeled. Thank you again to NordVPN for sponsoring.
Alright, we don't care about Nord. Shout out CoffeeHouse Crimes. I enjoy a lot of their videos, chat. They really have some good videos, so if you got some free time after y'all see this, go ahead and check them out. They got some interesting true crime stories, man. A lot of them are really good, really interesting. Sadly, they're all sad stories like this, but if you're into true crime and stuff like that, man, this is something that I think you guys would enjoy. So shout out CoffeeHouse Crime. We'll probably react to more of their stuff as we start posting more reactions, but obviously this is going to cap this one. So make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy what you've seen. Leave a comment. I want to hear you guys' opinion on this as well. What do y'all think they should have did with Nick? From the parents to the system to schools, doctors, everything. Leave comments down. Let me know what you guys think. All right, that's it, chat, and we'll see you guys for the next reaction.